Squiz Kids!
It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.
Good morning and welcome to Squiz Kids, your fresh take on what's happening in the world around you. I'm Bryce Corbett. It's Friday, November 27. In Squiz Kids today, it's gonna be a wet one. Rocky the Owl takes flight. Sydney Thunder win Big Bash semi, and Melbourne's new penguin chicks. That's what's making news, kids style.
The Lowdown.
From heat wave to flooding rains, welcome to an all-Aussie summer. That's the prediction from the Weather Bureau, which yesterday released its long-term forecast for the summer ahead, warning that the east coast of Australia should expect lots of rain and the potential for widespread flooding. Where did I put that inflatable mattress? It's all thanks to La Niña, the weather system we've discussed previously here, which typically brings with it wetter than usual conditions. It's hard to imagine, especially today and over the weekend when a heat wave is expected to take hold of large parts of the country. But the dry and hot conditions are eventually going to give way to persistent rains, which it's believed will peak between mid-December and mid-January, meaning lots of us should maybe ask Santa for a brolly for Christmas. And while you might think all that rain will mean a reduced chance of bushfires this summer, the Bureau of Meteorology is warning that grasses which will grow thanks to plentiful rainfall will dry out in the summer heat and create a whole new fire hazard. Ah, Australia, you never fail to disappoint.
Spin the globe.
Each day we give the world globe a spin and find a news story from wherever it stops. And today we've landed in upstate New York in the United States, where Rocky, the tiny owl found hiding inside the Rockefeller Christmas tree last week, has been nursed back to health and released back into the wild. Rocky's adventure began when the tree she was sitting in was chopped down to be trucked into New York City to become the famous Rockefeller Center Christmas tree. Workers discovered her as they were erecting the Christmas tree and handed her to wildlife rescue workers who took her in, fed her all the mice she could eat, and on Tuesday night took her back to a forest and set her free. There's a link to a video of Rocky taking flight in today's episode notes. You're welcome.
Sport time.
And it's a Sydney versus Melbourne final on the cards in the Women's Big Bash League after the Sydney Thunder beat Brisbane Heat in a nail-biting semi-final last night. The Thunder's Hannah Darlington won player of the match after taking 3 wickets for 19 runs, an awesome effort, helping to bowl out the Heat for a grand total of 131. Her teammate Sammy Jo Johnson also turned in an impressive effort, taking 2 for 14 and sending the Brisbane team packing with a Corton bowled to wrap up the match. The Thunder will now meet the Melbourne Stars in the grand final on Saturday night. Clear your schedule.
Animal Kingdom.
If you're a Squiz kid who happens to live in Melbourne, and really close to the Melbourne Aquarium, like maybe next door even, then you may have heard the cheeping of recently hatched chicks. That's because the aquarium's resident Gentoo penguins have just hatched a collection of the cutest, fluffiest little penguin chicks you are ever likely to see. Gentoo penguins are native to the Antarctic. They're the penguins with the orange feet and orange beak. When the boy penguins are trying to impress a girl penguin, they collect tiny pebbles to give them as a gift, and the smoother the pebble, the better. Maybe I should try that with my wife. Cheaper than flowers. Staff at the aquarium say first-time parents Zeus and Roger have taken to parenting very quickly, while foster parents Mouse and Lamington are completely in their element. Now, excuse me while I go and watch Happy Feet and leave you to a link in today's episode notes to a video of the Gentoo penguins in action.
What's up, Fox?
Every Friday we check in with Squiz Kids ambassador Flynn, known as the Fox to his friends, to see what he's been reading, watching and listening. On the reading front, well, he was a Harry Potter fan from way back in the day, so he's been devouring author J.K. Rowling's new book, The Ichabog, about a scary creature that lives in marshlands outside the happy kingdom of Cornucopia. The illustrations of the Ichabog by young Rowling fans are excellent. On the listening front, it's been something of a summer vibe all week with Colombian singer Maluma's hit song Hawaii. At least I think that's how you pronounce it. It's a great song with a catchy Latin beat. And you get to practice your Spanish into the bargain. How good is that? And as for watching, from now until the end of the year, he's decided he's going to recommend his favourite Christmas movies, starting with Arthur Christmas, made by the folks who brought you Wallace and Gromit, and a delightful story about a little girl who wondered how the whole Santa thing works. It's a Yuletide winner. And yes, there are links to all of these cool things in today's episode notes.
Time for the quiz.
This is the part of the podcast where you get to test how well you've been listening. Question number 1. What's the name of the weather system expected to bring lots of rain to Australia this summer? That's right, it's La Niña. Question number 2. What's the name of the owl rescued from the Rockefeller Christmas tree? Yeah, it's Rocky. Question number 3. What sort of penguins have just hatched chicks at Melbourne's aquarium? You got it, they're Gentoo penguins.
Shout outs.
It's November 27. It's Teacher's Day in Spain. So say gracias to your teacher today. It's Spanish, don't you know? It's also only 28 sleeps till Christmas. Baby, it's cold outside. If only. Plus, it's a Friday, and that means an extra long shout-out segment, for which I think we need some musical accompaniment. Hit it. And it's a very happy birthday to Georgia from Annandale, Tom from Double Bay, Mohammed from Oran Park, Claire from Bathurst, Elkie from Chinchilla, Kaylin from Griffith, Tommaso from Craigieburn, Samiha from Minto, Lachlan from Jindalee, Sally from Camberwell, and Archie from Womboyne. And some belated birthday shout-outs to Josie from French's Forest, Zara from Turramurra, and Shiloh from West Pymble. And not forgetting, of course, those Squiz Kids celebrating a birthday over the weekend. Juliet from Double Bay, Jake from Crookwell, Sienna from Healesville, Veronica from Seven Hills, Swarupa from Minto, Ayla from Valentine, Yasmin from Concord West, Isla from Wallaby Point, Angus from Sydney, Madison and Sienna from Warners Bay, Zoe from Launceston, and Jet from Erskineville. Happy birthday, one and all. Don't forget, if you've got a birthday coming up and you'll want a shout-out, or if you're after a classroom shout-out, drop us a line at squizkids@thesquiz.com.au. Well, that's all we have time for today. Thanks for listening to Squiz Kids. We'll be back again on Monday. In the meantime, get out there and have a most excellent weekend. Over and out. Squiz Kids is proudly supported by the Judith Neilson Institute for Journalism and Ideas.
Squiz Kids!
It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.